Direct betting.
Broadcasting live from the Capital OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Thursday morning. I'm Seth Merrow. Thanks for joining us. Hey, we saved the best for first this morning. Joining us on the line right now, Andy Serling from the New York Racing Association. Good morning, Andy.
If I'm your best, I'm really feel bad for the rest of your cast.
You're the lead off here, so you gotta get on base anyway. And I wanted you on this morning because the bankroll is coming up on Sunday. You will be in the house. I want to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, and we'll get some ideas for today and maybe some ideas on the Wood Memorial as well. But as I told you during the break, we were down at Gulfstream this past weekend, your stomping grounds from last winter, and I just wanted to pass along. The cameraman Dennis wanted me to say hello.
He's a great man, Dennis.
Yeah, he's fun.
Love Dennis.
Yeah.
One of the great degenerates in the game. There's never been a race run that Dennis didn't have a bet on.
He sits there.
He is
while
a
we're
great
doing
man.
the show, he just sits there and goes through the program.
He's the best. I love Dennis. I had the best time working with Dennis. Between working with Dennis and Gabby, it was just great. I mean, I had such a good time with them, and Dennis really is a genuinely good guy. He worked here at NYRA for years.
Yeah, he said.
I didn't know him when he did, but he did.
He was up in New York, and I guess he bounced around some tracks down there as well. But I got to know him last year.
Oh,
and
he's a great guy.
And I really enjoyed
Dennis,
working with him. And he was happy this weekend because we had Roddy Valenti on Friday live down there, and we were talking a little bit about Stretch's Stone. But then he said, I got one tomorrow at Santa Anita, which would have been this past Saturday. And eventually came in at $10. I walked past Dennis the next day, and Dennis was like, "Hey, that was great."
I remember when I first started down there, and I didn't know Dennis, and I said to Gabby, he was just in complete action, which is great, our kind of guy. And I said to Gabby, I said, how much is like Dennis is really betting all the time, and Gabby's, not that I know myself, and Gabby said, no, but Dennis told me he starts the meet with a $20 bankroll, and that runs out, he's done. I said, Gabby, he starts nearly double with a $20 bankroll. I said, and when it runs out, it's not done. It's like, you want to think about that one for a second? I think she misunderstood him. He's really a good guy.
It really, as I say, enjoyed working with him. And as I say, he wanted me to pass on, say hello. All right, coming up on Sunday, you will be in the house. Let's touch on that first and foremost. You'll have a $1,500 bankroll. I will say you don't have much to live up to. I had the last bankroll. I had $750 a couple of weeks ago. And I had pretty much whiffed all day long, and finally, virtually the last race at Oaklawn, I picked up a little money in the pick four and hit an exact, and so I got it back to 300 at least, so everybody got a little money. But you don't have much to live up to, but I'm assuming no PP's out yet. You'll probably delve in this afternoon. Aqueduct, obviously, and maybe a little Keeneland as well?
Yeah, we'll do Aqueduct and Keeneland. They'll both come out later today. And, I've been lousy the last couple of times. Last time, it's funny, I don't know if you remember, but the biggest bet I think we made the whole day was, I think it was that horse Page at Keeneland. And it came back at Gulfstream in its next start and paid $40. A Christophe Clement horse, a turf router. It was a frustrating day last time. They're fun, and I love coming up, and everybody's really great. It's a balance because people want to have a shot to make money.
Yeah.
So you can't really walk away with $1,100. You're either sort of walking away with $4,000 or $5,000 or zero. And I think that's the way people want it to be. I'll do whatever the crowd wants to do, but as you know, they're always urging you for action, and it's fun action. And between Keeneland and Aqueduct, and the good news is that after today, the weather's going to clear up, so we'll be on the turf and with Keeneland. So it should be a fun weekend, and hopefully we can do a couple smart things. And if we can, we'll make some money.
Yeah, I've said it before. It's fun. It's a different kind of situation though, where you want to preserve things through the 3 or 4 hours you're there, and so early on you're maybe a little bit cautious, but it has to be your day as well. But it should be a lot of fun. We always get a good crowd, and as you say, everybody's into it and participating. It'll be Sunday, and I guess before you actually start with the wagering, you'll have a little look at the betting at Aqueduct early on as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about Akron. We'll talk about Keeneland as well. I mean, I'm looking forward to looking. Yeah, I think you have to sort of determine whether whatever number, whether it's 2 or 4 or 5. I mean, obviously you'd like to have more plays and sort of make sure you have money for them, but you also want to keep people in action. So you start out by betting the pick 5 a little bit, and and maybe some pick 4s and things like that. And there's action between them, and like you say, we just have to have a few decent opinions somewhere, and maybe we can put together and win some money.
Should be a lot of fun. And I watched you and Mr. Stabile yesterday. Am I understanding correctly? Is it possible you'll have some turf at Aqueduct on Sunday?
Well, we have 2 on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
If you had looked at the wood card, you would know that.
I looked at.
You're like Steve Bick Jr.
I did look at the wood itself.
You didn't look at the wood card. You didn't see there were 2 turf races.
I looked at the stakes races.
I even tweeted it out. If you were on Twitter, are you on Twitter yet?
No, but I do read a lot of Twitter. I'm not on it, but
I'll that much, apparently.
Well, I don't know whether I checked your feed recently.
Apparently you're ignoring my feed, which may be a good move on your part.
But, I did look at the stakes races, and it's a phenomenal card on Saturday.
It is a good card. There's a lot of stuff going on.
It's a blockbuster, no question about it. But it's nice to see the potential of some turf racing coming back in New York, and that's a sure sign of spring. And again, coming up Sunday here at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. We want to see everybody down here and enjoy Mr. Serling in the house. All right, let's get some ideas for this afternoon, and then we'll take a look out at some of that wood card action as well. But today, the 6th race, a $10,000 claimer. They're going to go the 1-turn mile as they are back on the main track now down at Aqueduct. What did you think in race number 6 today?
I like the 2 outside horses. I prefer Bambi's Frosty Racer, who actually ran really well last time. Was completely shut off at the start. Was never near the rail. The rail was the place to be. Made a winning move top of the stretch and understandably tired because the trip was impossible. Has run well in 2 consecutive spots. Draws well outside. I think is super logical. And because the connections will probably be in the 4 or 5 to 1 range and really shouldn't be that high. I also think that best play inside of him. He's a bit of an enigma in that I'm not. You could argue that his last race was bad, but he was on a dead rail 2 back, and last time out, it just seemed like his rally stalled when they sent him down inside. And I'm wondering if he's a horse that wants to do his running on the outside. I'm thinking that the 1-turn mile is better for him, and you look at his last win where he made an outside move on the main track. So I think he's going to run a lot better because he just seems unhappy down inside. So my play is to use the 7 and 8 to start pick 4s and to box him in exactas and probably bet whichever one's a bigger price to win, to be honest.
Best play, you got Jose Ortiz on board, who got right back in the groove on his return to New York yesterday.
Yeah, well, he's going back to Keeneland on Friday. I mean, most guys, will be here for some big race days, but they'll also be at Keeneland a lot. So it's nice to see Joel here. And I know Javier took off as the one mount he had, and the idiot you're talking to, though, me, said on TV that it was nice to have Javier back. And then they said to me when I went off camera, Irad's riding him. But that's what I get for not paying attention. But it's nice to see the guys back around, and John Velasquez, and that they'll be here on weekends, and Belmont's not far away.
All right, race number 7 today, State Bred Allowance, non-winners who won other than, again, the 1-turn mile. What did you see in the State Bred race? Well,
it's important to know to people that Nevesian Sky, the horse in the rail, scratched, and we're taking a lot of money. So that takes a little value out. I have a marriage to 2 down, 1 to go, and I'm going to tell you, 2 down, 1 to go is a horse I've picked a lot, and I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong, damn it. I'm right about this. 2 down, 1 to go is good. He's been very unlucky, chased outside against a gold rail last time. I know some people are tired of me saying that, but I don't think there's anything more important than continuously pointing out biases, Seth. And he's been against it, and he's run well on fast paces. I think he's in a much better position today with a more easy pace scenario, and he's got a nice outside post, and I think he's going to be very tough in here. But I do think that Prophet's Cat is dangerous. I'm assuming that Javier Castellano is riding him. He is listed to ride him, and I'm hoping he rides him. But he actually ran very well last time. He likes a wet track, and he's a better horse on 1 turn. He's not a winning type, but I think he's going to outrun his odds in this race, so 8-6 for me.
All right, and let's get out to Saturday. Before we get to Saturday, let's go back to last Saturday and the Florida Derby. I'd love to have your opinion. I've been on Gunnevera all year long, and I thought the 3rd place finish might set him up well to move on to the Kentucky Derby. Obviously, Todd's horse looked great, Always Dreaming, but there's always this time of year, Todd moving out of Gulfstream and moving on to the Kentucky Derby. There are those questions. What are your thoughts coming out of the Florida Derby?
It's funny, Seth. I'm not a Gunnevera fan. I wasn't going into the Florida Derby. I think he's a nice horse, and one of my concerns with him as a Derby horse, this is not a trainer that I feel confident is going to be able to ship a horse to Kentucky and get the same kind of results he's gotten in Florida. And that is something that, right or wrong, I think about a lot. And so that concerns me about him, whether or not we can rely on him to run as well. But he went from being not on my tickets to being on my tickets in all likelihood, because I could be wrong. I had an argument with Jay Privman about this the other day, who thinks he'll be a much shorter price than I do. I disagree with Jay. I don't think he can be less than 15-1 in the Derby, especially if we get one or two decent performances in the preps this weekend or even next. Because you've got so many important horses running between Kier and Keeneland, as well as Classic Empire coming back in the Arkansas Derby, that if one or two of them run reasonably well, he'll get lost in the shuffle. And he does have the right kind of running style. So, and I agree with you. I think he actually ran fine in the Florida Derby. I'm not sure that he ran any worse than he ran in the prior race, the Fountain of Youth, where he had everything go his own way. He kind of had nothing go his own way, and the outside draw didn't help him either. And he just got lost in there. So, if you're somebody like yourself, Seth, who likes him, I agree. I wouldn't be dissuaded at all from him. I'm just going to use him now because I think he's going to be a much bigger price than he would have been. If he had won the Florida Derby, he would have been a shorter price, and I wouldn't want him at a short price, if that makes sense.
I agree about the price. I think the third place finish is going to help the price, and I agree with you completely over the next 2 weeks with the 3 this week in Arkansas Derby. If somebody does step up a couple of horses, they can suck some money. There's potential. Depends on who it is. But if it's a McCracken or J. Boys Echo, they'll start to take some money, certainly.
I have to win this bet from Privman, or I'm never going to. It's going to be worse than paying.
Oh, it's 15-1 or more?
No, it's lower, actually.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 15-1.
It's a friendly dinner bet. I respect Jay a lot, and he follows the Triple Crown stuff, and I assume that most people that are interested are following his stuff in DRF, because nobody's giving better coverage, I think, than Jay is. But that doesn't mean it's not horse racing, and I'm certainly a guy who's ready to have an argument with just about anybody. I could argue with a telephone pole. But he thinks he'll be lower. I don't.
I think 10 or 12 is right about in the
Jay
ballpark.
thinks around 10 too, and I think it's under, and I don't. But we'll see. I mean, every argument I've had with him so far, he's been right. So
I wouldn't go
I'm
under
a little
10,
bit,
but
he was somebody who felt he's a dreamer, was a player much earlier than I would have, and I think one of the things to take away from that, not to drone on and on and on, is Todd Pletcher knows how to win Kentucky Derby preps.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good segue to Wood Memorial and Battalion Runner, a horse who, on his form, I'm not particularly thrilled with, but I think he's very scary because Todd just knows how to win these races.
And let's look at it. $750,000 Grade 1 event, a mile and an 8. And it's one of those fields where there are a few horses in here that have the credentials that they will step up to near the top of people's lists with a good performance on Saturday. Battalion Runner is one of those. Irish War Cry looking for some redemption. Stretches Stone comes in for our friend Roddy Valente, and he, I know, was really happy with the workout last weekend in New York. But I know you talked about, I was listening to the Big Show, and you talked a little bit about cloud computing, lightly raced for Chad Brown. We're going to pull up the Gotham last time, March 4th. The number 1 J. Boys Echo will be the winner. Running second will be number 9 Cloud Computing. But this was only start number 2. First time around 2 turns. First time in Stakes Company off the maiden breaker in the career debut. So there's got to be some upside for Cloud Computing. Again, we're watching him run second here to J. Boys Echo. Give us your thoughts on Cloud Computing and overall on the Wood coming up on Saturday.
Well, every opinion is predicated on the horses staying sound. So we'll assume these horses stay sound through the end of the year. I would make a big bet that Cloud Computing is the best 3-year-old that we've seen this year on the dirt. His race in the Gotham, you consider it was 3 weeks after he made his debut, and he was going from 6 furlongs to a mile and a 16th. He left from an outside post to force what turned out to be a gigantic pace that completely and totally incinerated. He was the first aggressive mover into that pace, and he never gave an inch to a very good horse in J. Boys Echo, who's a major Derby contender that people don't seem to mention that often, and that horse had an absolutely perfect trip that day. Cloud Computing's performance was outstanding, especially under the circumstances. Now he's had 5 weeks until this race. He's got more of the experience. There's some pace in this race. Cloud Computing, to me, is way the horse to beat in here. Now, maybe he won't beat Battalion Runner because It's a third-time star for Chad Brown against the Todd Pletcher horse, who's very geared up for these races. So I'm not 100% confident he's going to beat Battalion Runner, and I'm not saying he's a horse that I would bet in the Derby. I think he'll be the best horse in the Derby if he runs, but I don't necessarily think he's the kind of horse that wins the Derby. But by the time the Travers is run, forget about it. I just think he's a terrific racehorse, and he is the one horse that we've seen so far run against the grain of a race and run well. All the other horses you look at Irish Warcry. How do you win the Holy Bull? Cruising along at a moderate pace. What happened when he was forced to rate behind a fair pace? Nothing, Battalion Runner, he can win this race. And Beasley Beat's okay, but he didn't run an outstanding race in the Tampa Bay Derby. He didn't run that badly, but he didn't run an outstanding race. Motown was a disaster last time in the Risen Star, and the Remsen's turning out to be a phony race. I do actually think Roddy's horse is good, Stretch of Stone. I think he has a chance to get a real piece of this race. And he's a very nice horse, but Cloud Computing is better. If Cloud Computing runs his race, he's going to be very hard to beat in here. This is a really, really good horse.
As I say, very lately raced, and to step up and run as well as he did in the Gotham, and only his second start says a lot. So we'll see what happens if he can validate that a little further on Saturday. And just quickly, we'll touch on just a couple others, just overall opinions. Unified, who I think has the potential to be a really good one for Jimmy Jerkins, is going to be seen in the Carter. In the Bayshore, there's a potential here for Long Haul Bay, second time out of the box for Chad Brown off a 90 buyer win. Nice little New York bred. And then I was going to mention Theory on the comeback as well, the horse that everybody was on board off the Saratoga win last July. What are some of your thoughts overall on the undercard stakes?
Well, as far as the Bayshore, they're all lucky favorite outcomes not running because he would have drowned these horses. I don't trust Theory, I'll be honest with you. He might win this race. I think he's the horse to beat. But I don't, these Todd horses like him have come back, and it feels like it's very dichotomous. They either come back and run giant, or they come back and they stink. So I don't know what to expect from him. I think he's a very talented horse, but I'm on the fence with him. I got an idea on a price horse in here, and that's the one Migsy. I love a horse turning back. I really don't think he's a router. I think he won that race because he's a talented horse. I think he's a very interesting horse. His race against Rumpelstiltskin 2 back was really good. He was against the bias that day. That was a big inside track, and he ran really well against the bias. I think Migsy is a really interesting horse at the Bayshore, and he's probably my best price play of the day, to be honest with you. And I have a lot of respect for Unified, and I really hope he stays sound. I'm always worried about horses like him that miss, come to the track late, and then they're laid up a few months later. He's obviously very good, and he beat Mind Your Biscuits. Here's a Jimmy Jerkins stat. Second off a layoff, off a win in a dirt sprint. He's 0 for 6. He ran third twice, no seconds, and one of them was at 1 to 20, 5 cents the dollar. So I wonder if he'll come back and run as well. And I think Tommy Macho, if he can bring his Florida race from 2 back up here, I think he's going to win this race. And he has run well in New York before. So I think Tommy Macho is a very dangerous rival to Unified. And people that think they can get away with just singling Unified may be making a mistake.
Again, really great card on Saturday, highlighted by the Wood Memorial, but the undercard stakes very strong as well. Andy, just before we let you go, I've been asking everybody the past couple of weeks, what were your thoughts on that Dubai World Cup performance from Arrogate?
He stinks. He's the most overrated horse. He's a bum. What do I think? I think he's a remarkable horse. And as you know, I was wowed by his Travers. I have great love for Arrogate because Arrogate came around at a perfect time to show people what real greatness looks like. It's not Songbird. It's not some of the horses they want to anoint as great. He's great. He's a great talent. He's the best horse we've seen since Go Sapper. His performance in the World Cup, he's a horse that's shown he can overcome all kinds of adversity. He can run down a horse on a moderate pace that's loose in the lead, that's talented, like he did in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He can drown a field setting a fast pace in the Travers. And what he did in the Dubai World Cup, it's the kind of race that I don't think you have to be a racing fan to watch and be excited by. And I told a friend of mine who's not really a racing fan, you've got to watch this race. And even he was like, wow, that was incredible. That was really exciting, and I think we need to appreciate these good horses when they come around. I'm sorry he's not racing more often, and I do think these big purse races like the World Cup and the Pegasus are bad for racing overall. Having said that, I think he's a great horse, and I'm glad he's been showcased.
Yeah.
And I hope we see more of him. I wish he ran every weekend.
Yeah, we're lucky that in our lifetime we're going to get to see one of the all-time greats, obviously. And it was funny, I interviewed both Todd and Johnny Velazquez last weekend, and I said to both of them, as bettors going into the first turn, we thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. What did you think? And Todd said, yeah. Going into the first turn, I jumped up and I was yelling at the screen. I thought, oh, this is a good situation. And John said, usually you can't hear the announcer, but in that case in Dubai I could, and I heard him say Arrogate was in trouble, and I thought, oh, okay. And then they both said going around the far turn, and then all of a sudden the horse shows up, and they both realized, oh, not today.
Meanwhile, their horse ran very well.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I thought it was a mediocre move going over there, and I was wrong. I mean, they did get third, and I guess it's $1 million or roughly $1 million for third. I mean, it's a funny discussion. It's actually a bigger discussion because I think he would have won the Carter. So McCarr's $400,000 race, and what does it do for his breeding value to win a race like that? I mean, don't forget, Neolithic hasn't accomplished anything on the racetrack.
Yeah.
When I say accomplish, I think he's a terrific horse. And I was on Neolithic at Saratoga, his first start. Having said that, what has he done? He's finished second in Discovery. He's run third in the World Cup in the Pegasus. That's not going to make him a major stallion. He's going to have to deliver somewhere down the road. So did he go to Dubai at the expense of maybe winning the Carter and maybe even winning the Met? He's a good horse. I just wonder if it might affect him going forward because he never was really running for the win.
Yeah, no question about that, particularly given what we saw. Andy, appreciate the visit and thoughts on today and on the weekend as well. Again, you'll be in Sunday with the $1,500 bankroll here at the Clubhouse Racebook. We look forward to it. Good luck today and tomorrow on Wood Memorial Day, and we'll see you on Sunday morning.
It's always great to be on with you, Seth. I wish you would call more often.
I appreciate it. Andy, thanks. Andy Serling, New York Racing Association. We'll head to a break. When we come back, Ellis Starr, National Racing Analyst from Equibase. We're going to take a look at some various things. You got one at Santa Anita today. We'll take a look out at the Bluegrass in the Shakertown Saturday at Keeneland with Ellis. A little bit later on, Ron Nicoletti, as they have kicked off their spring-summer meet down at Gulfstream. We'll go back and just do a little recap of last weekend with Ron and get some ideas for today as well. All of that coming up right after this.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Plan right now is to run Always Dreaming only.
Just hours before Always Dreaming won the Florida Derby,
Always Dreaming set down for the drive by John Velazquez.
Seth Merrow talked with Johnny V and Todd Pletcher about this impressive horse.
You don't know how it's going to react with the tougher competition now.
But if Always Dreaming falls good on race day, he goes.
The 2017 Florida Derby to Todd Pletcher and Always Dreaming.
All the top trainers, all the top jockeys. No one delivers more insight and more information on all the big races than Capital OTB and OTB TV.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. CapitalOTB.com offers live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, and a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform. And best of all, you get track prices. Going on now, it's Bet 50, Get 50. Simply open a Capital Bets account, bet $50, and get $50 cash back. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Be sure to join NYRA handicapper and racing analyst Andy Serling at the Clubhouse Racebook in Albany. Andy will be handicapping live the day's races and managing a $1,500 bankroll on behalf of 50 lucky patrons. To be part of Andy's bankroll team, sign up at the Clubhouse Racebook or online at CapitalOTB.com.
Hey, we've got a new show.
We do.
Absolutely, and they're off right here on the OTB TV network Sunday mornings.
What's it all about?
It'll be a lot of fun. Fast-paced, plenty of topics, guests, handicapping, commentary, and maybe some opinions.
I have opinions on my opinions.
And we will have plenty of them because you're on the show. And they're off Sunday mornings here on the OTB TV network, 10 a.m. each Sunday. Should be a lot of fun. Anthony Mormino, Seth Merrow. We'll see you there.
I'm sorry, I went...
With more than 60 Easy Bet and branch locations throughout the region, you're just a short drive from all the top tracks across the country and around the world. For a complete list of all Easy Bet and branch locations, visit CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB. We're closer than you think.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. As promised before the break, joined now by Ellis Starr, National Racing Analyst from Equibase. Good morning, Ellis.
Good morning, Seth. Good morning, racing fans. It's a pleasure to be on.
Happy to have you on. We haven't had you on in a while, but do want to remind folks that they can find your selections at Equibase. I saw also you're going to be giving out a free selection every day on the Keeneland website. I think you do the same over at Santa Anita as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Santa Anita, Keeneland. Actually, I'll be doing Woodbine this year, believe it or not.
Nice.
A race today of them as well, and then the race of the week, and doing a lot of supporting the Derby Dollars contest, which is a great contest that's mostly done now, but it's been a lot of fun. And, yeah, I'm getting to write a lot of content. I'm very happy about sharing my thoughts with people.
And I should let you talk just briefly, because I know you've been doing some seminars, the Equibase Race Lens feature, which we had a representative from Equibase on with us this summer up at Saratoga just as it launched. And just remind people what that product is for folks who might not be familiar, because it's a great new addition to the Equibase family.
I'll try and give you a 20-second version. Stats Incorporated, which does sports for all across the world for 40 years, came to the racing industry and wanted to do a racing product, the first outside company to want to do that, and we've developed Stats Race Lens, which is available via some wagering platforms, mostly at Equibase. You can go to bringingclaritytohandicapping.com. It's kind of long, but it's bringingclaritytohandicapping.com, and there's a free race every day. It's a tremendous product that allows people to save time and money and find some nuggets. You can create your own angles, and you can do research that can't be done with any other programs, really, in terms of looking at sire and dam and trainer and jockey stats and get some nuggets. As a matter of fact, we do webinars every 2-3 weeks at Equibase, and you can check them out for free. You get some free handicapping as well. Last week, a race at Gulfstream earlier on the card, the $29 winner, Time to Travel, was a pick I gave out based on the pedigree statistic being a full brother to Hard Not to Like, and ended up paying $29 based on stats I found in Race Lens.
Nice. So again, people can check out the Race Lens and go to the webinars and learn a little bit more about how to use it. The nice thing to me is you can plug in the angles you like and make them work and whatnot. Ellis, let's get some ideas for today, and then we'll look out on the weekend. A nice stakes program, obviously highlighted by the Bluegrass opening weekend at Keeneland, but you had an idea today at Santa Anita as well. The 7th at Santa Anita, optional claimer, 75,000 tags, non-winners of one other than scheduled on the grass at a mile and an 8. Small town hero comes out of a couple of wins. A win last time for Farley. Double touch comes in from Europe. Sharp Samurai. Question mark on that one on the surface. Broke away Gray. Also a question mark on the surface, but won the career debut. And Glacier comes in off a nice win for Bob Baffert. But what did you see race number 7 at Santa Anita today?
Yeah, well, you got the 8 horses going 9 furlongs on the grass. The first level allowance was 4 last out winners, so it's kind of interesting. And of the 3 contenders, which are 8 Ritzy AP, the 3-1 second choice, 6 Glacier, the 5-2 one line favorite, the 2 Farley at 8-1 is way out of line because he broke his maiden, and the reason he's underbet, or at least John White made him higher on the morning line, is because he broke his maiden going 6.5 on the grass. But he has 2-turn form. In his second career start, he stretched out from 6 on the dirt to the mile on the grass and missed by a nose. So he's going to have no problem as a son of Distorted Humor, and based on his previous form, actually a grandson of Malibu Moon as well, getting 9 furlongs. He gets a nice inside draw. He's going to stalk the speed small town hero, as you mentioned. He's a little cheap here. He broke his maiden claiming and won a non-winners at 2, so he's a little overmatched in this trade allowance event. And the 96 Equibase speed figure Farley earned is as good as the 94 Ritzy AP earned, and the 100 Glacier earned are all going to run well. So the reason I like this race is because you get an opportunity to cash and key on a horse at a good price. So nothing wrong with Glacier coming out of a nice win at 9 furlongs on the grass. Took blinkers off. That was the key. Ritzy AP broke his maiden, then tried stakes. That didn't work. Now he's back where he belongs at a first level allowance. But the 2 Farley in the 7th at Santa Anita, 8-1, I'd make a win bet, and I would just box the 2, 6, 8 Farley, Glacier, Ritzy AP in an exacta. Hopefully Farley will key that off at a nice profit.
I like it. All right, let's move on to Keeneland on the weekend. And once again, you've got a free selection at the Keeneland website every racing day. And if folks want the full card, they could go over to Equibase?
Yes, EchoBase.com every day. Keeneland Friday and Saturday up.
I like
Sunday
it.
will be a little later. Hopefully, I'll do the Saturday card for Sandy as well with the 11 races, including the Derby.
Sounds good. Let's take a look at the Bluegrass coming up on Saturday. Again, opening weekend. Keeneland opens tomorrow. Opening weekend featuring the Bluegrass Grade 2 event. $1 million up for grabs, a mile and an eighth. I'm going to be interested to see what J-Boys Echo did. We were down at Gulfstream last weekend and had Dale Romans on with us, and he was pretty happy with the workout that had happened earlier that morning down at Gulfstream. But I'm going to pull up the CMF Davis from February 11th. We're going to watch the number 8 McCracken win. Running second is going to be number 7 Tappert. Tappert came back and won the Tampa Bay Derby. McCracken was on the sidelines briefly and missed that race, but McCracken now gets the chance to validate the 4-for-4 record off the little bit of a layoff. But boy, practical joke in here for Chad Brown as well. Wild Shot could be maybe an interesting little price play. What do you think in the Bluegrass?
Well, I'm talking about this race more because it's got interest, not because it's a great betting race, by the way. I wanted to talk about it. Also, of course, a great prep with these 3 horses in the race. And honestly, I was a little confident in the race. I think if you ran the race 100 times, McCracken, J-Boys Echo, and Tappert should win 98 out of 100. It just really don't see much in the race. And I was really high on J-Boys Echo for those that followed my blog again, and the Derby Dollars blog and Race of the Week. I just thought that he got a ton of experience. I could see the light bulb going on in the Withers off the layoff, and luckily it paid off with a nice, $14 payoff in the Gotham. He's still moving forward. I've got to go with him again because he's got the win at Keeneland, and when you've got a horse that's in form, who's progressing as a 3-year-old and has experience on the track, you really can't fault him. He went, and I love this pattern, by the way, no matter what speed figures you use, when you see increasing speed figures and just using EchoBase figures, he went from 82 debut to 85 to 89 in the jackpot to 93 in his 3-year-old debut and then 103. And it kind of follows the same pattern as Tappert. His last 3 are 96, 101, 106. McCracken actually took a step back when he made his Jockey Club. He went 87, 101, 94, but he popped with a 104 in the Sam Davis. You did have that 12-day gap where he did miss a little bit of training with the strained ankle, even though all reports are he's working fantastically. But I love how the light bulb went off. I love horses, and we made a talk last year about time stuff, that make that move on the turn, that can go from 2 or 3 back at the on the far turn around the quarter, 3/8, and be in front of the 8. And J-Boys Echo went from 4th, 2 back, to first, a length and a half up at the 8th, and really gave nobody a chance to pass him that could move us in the time. So I really think he's progressing nicely. He really just needs to get second to get enough points to assure he's in the race. That's not a problem. But I think he's the right horse, particularly with the extra half a furlong, and that he has to race at Keeneland. Tappert, no knocks at all. Right pattern. Should have no problem with the distance. Flattered again. State of Honor, who ran second to him in Tam Davis, didn't run too bad in the Florida Derby, and he's moving forward nicely. And McCracken, he's going to be bet heavily as the favorite. I'm sure he's going to be the favorite because he's the unbeaten horse, and unbeaten horses are always bet pretty heavily. Flattered, of course, when Tappert came back to win. Again, missed that training, but there's no knock on him. But I'm looking at J-Boys Echo to really show me something here. I'm looking for all 3 to run well, and again, you could knock me over with a feather if anybody else won this race.
Yeah, these 3 have a chance to kind of step up to at or near the top of the class and kind of validate themselves and move forward to the Derby with some real backing. I asked you when I contacted you yesterday if you had anything else on the card you found interesting. You pulled up the Shakertown, a turf sprint, 5.5 furlongs, grade 2 for $200,000. Fun field in here. I'm a huge fan of Power Alert, have been since he came over from Australia, and Rainbow Air comes out of a just miss effort behind Power Alert down at Gulfstream. Green Mass with a couple triple-digit buyers. Most recently, Justin Squared moving into the Wesley Ward barn from Bob Baffert for the Zayat folks. Mongolian Saturday, 2 for 2 over the track, including the 2015 Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. But I pulled up the replay from February 25th, the Colonel Power down at Fairgrounds, number 2 Hoagie. is going to be the winner. That was a 103 Beyer figure. This horse has had some starts over the Keeneland surface, most recently a close-up second with a big closing effort in the Woodford last October. So Hoagie coming out of Fairgrounds, where those runners have moved away from Fairgrounds over the past couple of months and been successful at other venues. Hoagie looks interesting, but I think you can make a case for 4 or 5 of them in here. What did you see in the Shaker Town?
Can you believe an 8-year-old like Hoagie ran his career best race at 8? That's just amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
It's really amazing. So I love turf sprints and Keeneland stuff. We're going to get, we'll get rain. Be fine on Saturday, but there'll be a little give in the ground. I looked at this race top and bottom, and again, confidence. Maybe I'm wrong. All my years of handicapping, I've been a public handicapper for over 20 years now, tells me that Justin Square is going to be sent. And I'm telling you, that's the plan, and he can post the upset here at 12-1. There's some great horses in here, but that's the key, and that's why I wanted to talk about this race with you and your listeners here, because Justin Square certainly did nothing wrong. Started his career, he won his first 3, including the Chick Lang last May. Went off form. He just didn't run well in the Woody Stevens and the Bing Crosby. Took some more time off. Tried turf. Ran okay in the Eddie D last fall at Santa Anita, but moved to the Ward barn. Ward's been drilling him for speed. 59, 59, 59. He's bred for the grass. Both of his siblings on the dam side are turf winners, and Ward, of course, is known for this. There's really no other horse that really wants to lead, has to have a lead in the race. So I think they're going to blast off. They're going to play Come Catch Me, and 12-1, Justin Square is my key. Certainly Hoagie coming out of that huge race and having done nothing wrong now, also with 26 first or second place finishes in his career in 41 races, has to be played. Green Mask just made the lead and got beat by Hoagie. He likes to finish second more than first, but you can't knock him. And I'll throw in Mongolian Saturday, who is really a horse for a course. I mean, he won Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint 15-1 in the fall of 2015. Went over to Hong Kong and Great Britain without Lasix and ran 4 clunkers. Got back to the U.S. He doesn't run on Lasix. I'm sorry, I forget that. He doesn't run on Lasix. But got back to the U.S., and the first thing he did was win the fall equivalent of this race, the Woodford Stakes last fall, and then 2 clunkers, and then we'll find a life last out in Silk's Run at Gulfstream, where he finished 3rd, dropped back and made a late run from 9th to 3rd. Loscano's going to move him up, and he's got a big 4-furlong workout. So I'm going to bet Justin Square to win. There's no question in my mind. I think he can do it here. And I'm going to play an exacta and a trifecta box. I know I'm leaving out Rainbow Air and Shakamat, who both have a shot, but I'm going to box Justin Square, Green Mask, Mongolian Saturday, and Hoagie in the exacta and trifecta and try and get the 12-1 shot here to make us some profit here, Seth.
And I have to admit, I printed these up before the morning line, but I had circled Wesley Ward, first time for him, and in a turf sprint, and I see that 12-1. I think you have an interesting kind of play there coming up on Saturday. Ellis,
only if the strategy works, my friend.
Ellis, we appreciate the visit, and again, they can find your selections at Equibase or swing over to the Santa Anita website. There's a pick there every day. Keeneland will have a pick as well throughout their meet, and as you say, coming up this season, Woodbine also. Ellis Starr all over the place. Ellis, we haven't had a chance to talk in a while, but appreciated the visit. Good luck going forward.
Thank you, Seth. Talk to everybody soon. Have a great weekend.
We'll talk again. Ellis Starr, National Racing Analyst for Equibase. We'll take a break. When we come back, Ron Nicoletti, Gulfstream Park. Stay tuned.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Coming right back, the American, the European, and it is theatrical in front. Trempolino driving hard, full out and determined to get him, and here is the wire, and theatrical has won it. Absolutely spectacular.
Not a
the track and not near a computer? No problem. Wager with Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System and you'll never get shut out again. Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System is quick, simple to use, and guarantees your wagers are accurate and placed on time. For more information, visit CapitalOTB.com or call Capital OTB's customer service hotline at 800-292-BETS. Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System. Never get shut out again.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
And Frosted is coming with giant strides on the far outside. Here comes Honor Code. Here's a layer. Honor Code looked like he got him in the last stride. American Pharoah has lost the lead at the top of the stretch. Keen Ice has got him. Keen Ice has won the Travers.
Face it. Most horse racing websites are just too much clutter, too much to navigate through. Next time, log on to CapitalOTB.com. Our newly designed website is easier than ever to use, with all the information the professional horse player needs. CapitalOTB.com.
Welcome back to Racing Across America, joined now by Ron Nicoletti from Gulfstream Park. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, Seth. How are you today?
Very good. It was fun to see you last weekend, get a chance to tape some stuff with you and just shoot the breeze and hang out down at Gulfstream Park. We had a great time, and boy, it was a nice capper to really what was a very, very nice winter meet down there.
Yeah, it was a very nice winter meet, and as you know, Sunday we ended with the mandatory payout in the Rainbow Six, and they bet over $9 million, $7 million in new money, and paid $48,000. And I've been telling you this on the show and everybody. The day after it's hit big, when you come back again, somebody hits it, and they hit it yesterday for $35,000. Really? I don't know why it happened, but it happened.
That. Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious. That $35,000 is pretty good.
We were shocked. Last I looked, we were on the set, and I looked up, and there was I don't know how many minutes to post, but like 15,000. I said, there'll probably be 20,000. And then when we got the results at the end of the night, $35,000. And one other thing I want to mention, all the people are listening out there, we get emails for this. The reason that they don't show the payoffs if in the last race for the Rainbow Six sometimes, if there's a scratch, the software has to check around the country to see if somebody scratched in and got the post-time favorite and got the only single ticket. We try and explain it to people.
So they worry that if they showed the payoffs, then it's like a gate scratch, the payoff
Right.
would be different.
Yeah, they have to wait. The software has to go through it, and it has to do with tote. But if there's no scratches, we put it up there, So that's what it is. People always. I just wanted to pass that along to anybody who might be listening.
Oh, so that's so then it's a scratch anywhere along the sequence?
No, just in the last race.
Just in the last race. Okay.
Just in the last race because they know going.
Too. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when you think about it, it's common sense because if if there's a horse that scratches in and somebody wins it, and you say there's no single and there is a single, could cause a problem.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't want to leave that topic quickly here because I pulled up yesterday. I think we have a screenshot from the Ron Nicoletti handicapping sheet from last Sunday, and if you went through the whole list of selections and down at the bottom, there it is. We have it up on the screen now, circled in red. The long shot play, good and proper. Now we're going to watch the last race, which ended the Rainbow Six sequence. So if you're putting your tickets together, it paid to take a look at the Ron Nicoletti long shot because number 12, good and proper, 10-1 on the morning line when you made him your long shot pick. The betting public kind of liked him a little more. I thought I liked him, and I had him on my ticket. but he drifted down to just under 6-1. Nice late run here. Good call on the long shot, particularly for people playing the Rainbow.
Yeah, it was exciting because we a bunch of us bet my long shot every day, and last year we ended the day, but with the long shot winning the final day, but it paid over $30. But this time they bet it down. But I was running like it was a 200-to-1 shot. I was actually running through the stretch with the horse because it was just so exciting. So they bet it down. When I bet it was 8-to-1 or something like that, and it went down, as you said, a little over 5-to-1.
Yeah, like I say, it's 10-to-1 on the morning line, and that looked about right to me. But I had it on my ticket. I had the last four. The Mejia horse in the first leg was my first one out, just because it was Mejia, who has been insane the past week and a half, and then I didn't use Adventus, who I could have gone either way with. But I thought the last four were playable. I thought overall the ticket was very hittable, and I'm glad that a lot of people did hit for $48,000. A couple of our patrons up here at Capital OTB collected.
Oh, that's fantastic! Yeah, well, I missed Adventus too. That was the one that knocked me out of there. I had I think the last four myself or something, and the 12 of course went in the last really was exciting. So I ended the day on a little bit of excitement. But as I always tell you, I'm the king of 5 out of 6 in the Rainbow Six, which means diddly.
I know the feeling. I've been taking a shot with the carryover. I took probably a shot every day for the last couple of weeks, and I was doing some 5-ofs, some 4-ofs, and then I hit on Saturday. Yeah, me and the rest of the world. $89 on Saturday. And it was fun and interesting just to see that one play out, because as the favorites were winning, about 4 legs in, you started to think, well, how low can this I had only played a $24 ticket, and I'm thinking, could I actually lose money on this?
Well, a lot of people paid big tickets that day, and just they were praying for one long shot, and it didn't come to fruition, and they ended up, I hit. I mean, everybody hit it. My ticket was $64. It paid $89, so it is what it is.
Yeah, what I said to people was then it allowed you to reload for the next day, take the shot on the closing day mandatory. Ron, before we move on to this afternoon, let's just go back and recap some of the action and get some of your opinions. We're going to watch the stretch run to the Florida Derby here. Always Dreaming is going to win. I've been on Gunnevera's bandwagon. He runs third. I thought it was a pretty good third. I'm happy with that. I'm not off the bandwagon on Gunnevera, but certainly Pletcher's winner, Always Dreaming, looked good. Had Tommy Bellhouse on television with me Saturday morning. West Point Thoroughbreds had bought into this horse. Congratulations to them. But what were your thoughts on the Florida Derby?
He was very impressive winning. I mean, he looked like the logical second choice in there, and Gunnevera did come with some, question marks with the post, how to get over. I think would run badly, but Always Dreaming, second fastest Florida Derby time since Aladar. So really good performance. So, should take a positive step forward. It is Todd Pletcher. So, but I'm the same as you. I'm not off the Gunnevera bandwagon just yet. Especially when we see what post he gets in the Kentucky Derby and how much speed is in front of him. This horse is one of those horses that could end up sitting a nice trip unless he gets a terrible post like the inside or something like that.
And I didn't want to let the week go by without taking a look at the Gulfstream Park Oaks, because, again, with Unique Bella going to the sidelines, the 3-year-old filly picture is a little bit up in the air. And this was one of the nice performances on the day on Saturday. There were a few of them, but I thought Salty for the Mark Casse barn in the Gulfstream Park Oaks kind of inserted herself into the conversation of 3-year-old fillies. This was only career start number 3, ran a close-up second in the debut in February, followed that up with a nice win in the beginning of March, and again, now start number 3. Kind of wandering around a little bit out there in the stretch, but boy, she gets it done by a chart margin of over 4 lengths as the even money favorite. I think she's going to turn out to be a player in the division.
Yeah. I mean, they're thinking maybe going to the Kentucky Oaks, whatever. And you made a good point there. Even money favorites. So there was horses in there that were stakes winners and everything, and they just knew about this horse. The word was out. So Salty certainly did not disappoint.
Yeah, as I say, I think she's going to be interesting to follow. All right, let's get some ideas for today. You and I were talking during the break. You got some warm weather for this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be near 90 degrees, but some front is supposed to be coming in later today and cool down for the weekend. So, one of those fronts come in, always a chance for rain, but the way it's been going around here, we haven't had much rain, so I think it might hold off.
All right, race number 6 today, a maiden 12-5 claimer, 5 furlongs on the grass. Your thoughts on race 6?
I went with the 5 in here. Twist Cat Candies, drop it to the 12th level. Blinkers added, turning back to 5/8. Hoping those karma changes help produce a victory on this turf. Is 0 for 7 on the turf. I used Miss Patty and Ultimate Dude in there, and that one is wide open when you're putting your Rainbow Six ticket together. I went 3 deep. I would like to go all in there if I could.
All right, let's move on to race 7. Optional claimer, 75,000 tags. Non-winners are one other than. In race 7, they will go 3/4 of a mile.
I like the 5 bones in here, turning back to 3/4, as you mentioned, tracking the pace, finishing third behind the next out stakes winner, Colgalia. That one went up to Sunland and won a stake up there. That was a 75 optional claimer going 6.5. Ralph Nix, Tyler Gaffleone. Looks like, this is the daughter of Cantheros. If Tyler sticks around, he's going to have a good summer here. So Tyler Gaffleone, I used Midnight Union and Ladies' Day, who was impressive breaking her maiden at the distance at Belmont last October. And, they put her in the Demoiselle. So Tommy Albatrani, daughter of Bernardini, maybe can grab a share.
I'll tell you, mentioning jockeys, obviously we're going to see who kind of rises to the top now that the big guns have left town. But the number 1 in that 7th race, CJ Hernandez, the 7-pound apprentice, the few days I was there last week, he impressed me. I think he's worth watching.
Yeah, definitely. He's riding really nice there. So we'll see how Carlos Hernandez, he's been doing good. He started winning races in bunches. Took him a little while to get going.
Yeah, he seemed live, as I say, the last 4 or 5 days. All right, race number 8 today, maiden special weight event on the grass at 8.5 furlongs. How did you see the 8th?
Well, I got my best bet in here, and that's the 7, Miss Munning, stretching out to mile and 16. She could have been making a winning move, but she got totally shut off in the stretch. She finished 4th, going 7.5. Angel Pena Jr., Jorge Ruiz. This one looked like, when you go back and look at the race, was making the move that you thought if this horse got through was going to win. So taking a little bit of a shot, 4-1 on the morning line with Miss Munnings in the last.
Sounds good. Ron, before we let you go, some interesting news came out of Gulfstream within the past day. You had the big day for the inaugural Pegasus World Cup this past January, but it could be even bigger in 2017.
Yeah, they added $4 million to the purse of $16 million, $4 million by Mr. Stronach. So, anybody that runs in the race is guaranteed over $680,000 or something like that. So for the big swingers, if you run last, you only lose $400,000, and you make it up with attendance and all that. So it looks like they've solved the problem where guys didn't want to enter because they might lose money. So now with this $4 million of new money, boy. I wish I had a horse that could run in there.
Yeah, amazing they kicked the purse up like that, and it should be. It was fabulous this year, but it should play out to be even more intriguing in 2017. Ron, what?
I was going to just say, just keep running Arrogate every year. We'll have standing room only.
I said that to somebody. I wonder. He's obviously going to be lightly raced from here on out. So do they have like one more and then the Breeders' Cup? But then would they hang around? Why not? For that kind of money.
Of course they will.
So we'll see, because the more he runs, the better it is for all of us out here. Ron, as always, appreciate the visit. Good luck this afternoon. We'll talk again next week.
You got it.
Ron Nicoletti from Gulfstream Park. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, hit on some news and notes. We'll just kind of wrap things up for this edition of Racing Across America. Stay tuned.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB television network.
Plan right now is to run Always Dreaming only.
Just hours before Always Dreaming won the Florida Derby.
Always Dreaming set down for the drive by John Velasquez.
Seth Merrow talked with Johnny V and Todd Pletcher about this impressive horse.
You don't know how it's going to react with a tougher competition now.
But Always Dreaming, if all's good on race day, he goes.
The 2017 Florida Derby to Todd Pletcher and Always Dreaming.
All the top trainers, all the top jockeys. No one delivers more insight and more information on all the big races than Capital OTB and OTB TV. In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Be sure to join NYRA handicapper and racing analyst Andy Serling at the Clubhouse Racebook in Albany. Andy will be handicapping live the day's races and managing a $1,500 bankroll on behalf of 50 lucky patrons. To be part of Andy's bankroll team, sign up at the Clubhouse Racebook or online at CapitalOTB.com. Now get all the racing information you need right on your mobile device with Capital OTB's new mobile app. Wager anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone or tablet. Watch, wager, and win right at your fingertips. The new Capital OTB mobile app.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Welcome back. And yesterday I went over it a little bit with Shannon. I just mentioned a little bit with Ron Nicoletti, but I wanted to touch on in a little more detail that Rainbow Six mandatory from Sunday. I had put a little ticket together, talked about it, the potential when we were on the air Saturday morning. I said I would tweet it out. I did put the ticket out on the Capital OTB Twitter account. I think it was 90. And again, we hit that chalky. That was... And as I said to Ron, as the day progressed, you knew it was the value had been sucked out of it. I was just interested to see with that kind of money. You know, they had the dead heat in the first leg on Saturday, and then it was kind of chalking out. I had, again, tweeted out a Rainbow Six on Saturday. We played for 24, got back 89. So made a little bit of a profit, but that's not what you're looking for. I think without the dead heat, it's hard to say. If I was just guessing, without the dead heat, it might have kicked up. It certainly would have kicked up over 100. I'm guessing maybe 120, 130, which would have been, had a little more life to it. But still, it gave us a little money to reload for Sunday, made that ticket a little bigger than we had done for the previous 2 weeks. And I said, when I tweeted it out, I had horses in parentheses. I had made the picks after scratches. So normally I list in order of preference, have horses in parentheses in case of scratches. I had made the picks after scratches though, so I just listed the horses numerically, and I said, and I've included a couple of horses in parentheses just so I know that those are the first ones I paired out of the ticket, and I can kick myself when they win. And sure enough, first leg, the horse I have in parentheses, and was really the last horse off of my ticket wins, and it was the Jaime Mejia horse, who has been the trainer that's been the king of long. He was 1 for 100 or something 10 days ago, and then he has the $200 winner, the $50 winner. He starts off the Rainbow with I think it was played 20 something on Sunday, and so I was out immediately and kind of kicking myself. And then Adventist, in that next race, I was only 2 deep in that race. Adventist, I didn't know what to do with. He had no turf form, but he had back class. If I had instead of 90, if I had maybe $300, the chances are I might have had a winning ticket. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think Adventist would have moved in. He probably would have been my next selection in that race. Now, it's possible I would have gone deeper in other races and not used it, so I'm not going to say, give me more money, I would have had it. But it was possible, because then I hit the next 4 legs. My sob story on Saturday, I was walking around Gulfstream. I really just showed up to play the pick six, and it was a non-work day for me, obviously, having finished our work on Saturday. So I was just kind of walking around in a daze, maybe. I played a late pick 4 Tampa simulcast, and I didn't play the late pick 4 with my numbers at Gulfstream, and I'm still kicking myself. It still kills me. I had the last 4. I was 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 for 50 cents. It was a $40 ticket. Late pick 4 at Gulfstream pays $2,100, and again, I just would kick myself because I virtually always will reload in those kind of situations. Didn't, so not only didn't I hit the rainbow, I missed on a very, very good pick 4. So it was one of those things. Just another reminder, you got to keep your mind in the game on those days. But I was just enjoying the weather, meeting some folks. Mentioned yesterday, saw Dave Harmon and our friend Jimmy Corns, who you remember from being here on the network. He's down in Florida now, so I was talking with them. And just the pick 4 got away from me. But again, it's a good reminder. Tuck it in your back pocket. Keep your brain in the game, as it were. Let me touch on, I mentioned it just briefly yesterday as we were waiting to make one of our connections on the phone. The last Derby future pool. This is another one I regret a little bit. Not as much, certainly, as that pick 4. But I forgot all about the Derby future pool on Sunday, too. And there's really only one thing I would have jumped in with. The all others, the field, went off at 11-1. And it's getting to the point where it's late in the game to think that the players aren't on the 23 named horses. But there are sure to be some horses that are a little bit live that will not have been included among the 23 individual entrants subsequently. Something could come up this weekend or next weekend in the Arkansas Derby. And at 11-1, I would have liked to have added the Mutual Field. I picked it up in the first couple of pools, but I think at 5-2 and maybe a little more than that in the second one. The 11-1 is much more attractive, although again, I'm not going to do as well as I did on the first couple. The first couple, I Always Dreaming is going to be in the mix for me on the earlier All Others. There are a few live horses in those All Others. I've talked about it a bunch. The first pool, I grabbed Guinevere at 50-1, but I also said there was both sides of that because I also grabbed Ella Reed, who's out now. So I had a little bit of both. The second pool I had 3 or 4 individuals, but I just jumped in for a little amount of money, and I've forgotten who they are now. As we get closer, I'll mention so people can get an idea of how I play this. In the last few years, I've had, with All Others, I've gone into the starting gate on Derby Day with 16 horses that are just kind of, that allow you to maybe then play around a little bit stronger on some of the other horses for the Derby itself. It's just an interesting strategy, and you know, you have to decide whether it works for you or not. But as I say, when I get closer, I'll make the list of the horses I actually played, and we'll take a look as we get the Derby field set. But again, this future pool that closed this past weekend, All Others was interesting at 11-1. Other than that, maybe Battle of Midway at 64-1. He'll be this weekend in the Santa Anita Derby, and I say he's interesting because Battle of Midway and the Baffert horse, Reach the World. They both come out of the same race last time, an optional claimer. Battle of Midway won, Reach the World finished second. Well, Battle of Midway ended up at 64-1. Reach the World closed this past weekend at 28-1. The disparity there just doesn't make sense given how they finished last time. So again, Battle of Midway at 64-1 maybe was a little bit interesting. Other than that, hey, I could make a case borderline. Reach the World even at 28-1. State of Honor at 47-1. I thought he ran okay this past weekend. I don't know whether I'm a big supporter of him on the win end. I think things would just have to kind of utter chaos. But at 47-1, maybe a little shot there. Short prices this past weekend. Always Dreaming wound up at 6-1. Couldn't take that. Guinevere at 9-1. As I say, I have him earlier at a much better price. McCracken was the favorite at 5-1. So there are your 3 in single digits. Those are totally uninteresting. Anything below 30-1. But once it gets up and flirts with that, if you're 25 or 28, there was an interesting. But as I say, this past weekend, there was nothing that really. I would have taken an All Others. I might have jumped in at a Battle of Midway at 64. But as I say, I completely forgot as the day got away from me on Sunday, and I don't really regret it because it just nothing pulls me into the final odds as they wound up on Sunday afternoon. All right, I'm going to wrap things up for this edition of Racing Across America. We are here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 until 11 a.m. Let me hit on some of the promos here at Capital OTB before we wrap things up. Tomorrow there's a Win-A-Bet contest here at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Saturday, it's a fan appreciation day at the Pete's Easy Bet at Herkimer. If you're a patron there, swing by, let us say thank you. Saturday also, the Twitter Derby Prep Double. Learn more about this. We're going to fire up the social media and have a little contest there. Should be a lot of fun. Learn more about it at the website, capitalotb.com. Saturday, here at the Clubhouse Racebook, both a match bet promotion and a NYRA Pick 4 promotion. Those both happen Saturday here at the Clubhouse Racebook. And the same venue, 711 Central Avenue in Albany on Sunday, the $1,500 Andy Serling bankroll. You are highly recommended to swing by. Before things kick off, Andy will have a little seminar looking at Aqueduct and Keeneland, and all afternoon he'll put out his picks and plays. So swing on by. Andy Serling live here at the Clubhouse Racebook on Sunday. And just a quick reminder, a week from Friday, the Bounty Bet is back, and I just want to remind you, mark it on your calendar. Again, that's a week from Friday, but there's $1,800 plus up for grabs. All right. Going to wrap things up for this edition. Enjoy the races this afternoon. Let's all cash a few tickets. See you back here tomorrow morning.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.